Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Sirius, this is my brother Philip Sirius, and we're going to talk about probably the most depressing topic in regards to real estate, and that is delinquency and collections. We are coming out of the coronavirus, at least hopefully we're coming out and there won't be a second
It's progressing in a positive way.
As you can see, no haircut, we're kind of representative.
Our city opened up softly, so it was able to get a haircut, which was nice.
With regards to, we made some exceptions for coronavirus that we normally don't. And normally you should not make exceptions. For example, for anyone who could prove to us that they lost their job or had their job disrupted, they lost hours because of the coronavirus or whatnot, we dropped April late fees. We also, we did it again in May. We also allowed for an extra payment plan. We usually only give one per lease. Yeah. And, a few other accommodations here and there. Restructured one lease, I believe, by taking the rent from that month and putting over the rest of the lease. So we did a couple things that we normally don't. Normally you want to have one policy and you want to have your exception, your leniency built into your systems. You want to have those systems just set. You don't want to... You will drive yourself crazy.
Well, if you had problems with delinquency before coronavirus, it's not going to get any better after, because you really set yourself up for failure if you do it incorrectly. The first thing you need to do is, we talked about this earlier, screen properly, get residents who are most likely going to pay rent on time.
We talked about it in another video, which you should also watch. And then,
Yeah, we'll link that one in the description. But that's the best thing you can protect yourself. People who didn't pay previously or generally aren't very good with money are going to have trouble paying in the future. But you can still do things on your own to make this as hassle-free as possible. It won't be hassle-free, but as little hassle as you can make.
There will always be delinquency, at least some. You can make less by good screening and good lease renewals and all the rest of it, good maintenance, but particularly screening. But there always will be some. Now, I guess the first caveat is state laws differ, municipal laws differ. There are exceptions. There are certain things you can do in where we're at in Kansas City that we can't do where our father is and where we started in Eugene, Oregon. And then you go to New York or San Francisco. It's even tougher. We'll put it that way. We'll try to be...
I'll go over kind of what our philosophy is how we do it, but you can't necessarily follow the same one because your laws might be different.
Read your landlord-tenant laws in your state and your municipality, and talk to an attorney. Because every state, every city is different, at least to a certain extent.
So basically, the first thing you need to do is come up with your rules. I'll go over what ours are in a second, but come up with ARs, stick to them. Basically, don't make exceptions to them. And the other thing to do is make sure residents know these rules and how you're going to enforce them when they move in before there's an issue. Tell them what they're going to be and tell them you're going to follow these, and don't really make exceptions to that.
Set expectations.
And then follow through.
Everyone has problems. Everyone has issues. They do need some leniency.
Yeah.
But build that into your system. And then once you have it, your policy is set, there's no more decision making. Decision making is exhausting. It's actually called decision fatigue. Yeah. Wikipedia, Google it, Wikipedia, whatever. Google it and then find it on Wikipedia. The more decisions you have to make, the worse off you are. And in addition, if you're making decisions that don't match, even if you're not intending to discriminate, let's say you make a decision like you're in a good mood and some white guy walks in and you give him a break, and then the next day you're in a bad mood and some black guy walks in and you don't give them a break, and it had nothing to do with anything.
That's illegal.
But you just your mood.
Even if it's reversed.
Even if it's reversed, it could be the case. Yeah, in any case, you're not allowed to do it. So by sticking to your policies, you protect yourself, both your sanity and also protect yourself legally more so. But again, you still need to
one more point on that too. It prevents people from asking for things because they know you're sticking to the policies you've already told them. If they ask 1 month for leniency, the next month they'll go, I'm going to ask again and for a little bit more. And you just kind of build in the worst residents who yell the most, get mad at you the most, ask for the most, get the most rewards. The good residents who just go like, I'm going to make it work no matter how hard it is on me, those are the ones who get punished, and those are the ones who move out because they can't handle it anymore. So
give an inch, and some people take a mile, and also you are basically rewarding bad behavior. You're rewarding your bad residents. You're punishing your good residents by giving in to basically either pushing your systems or constantly complaining or whatnot. But anyway.
So this is basically how we do it. When someone comes in and they're signing a lease with us, we sit them down. We go over a lot of stuff. But when we talk about delinquency, we tell them on the first of the month, rent is due. January 1st, February 1st, whatever day that is. On the 1st, rent is due. On the 2nd is when it's technically late. It is late on the 2nd. So that doesn't mean we charge anything. We give them a grace period. So we don't actually charge the late fee until basically 12:01 a.m. on the 5th of the month. The reason we say that is because, people will... we just kind of make sure that's the exact moment. So let's say they put it in the mail or something like that, or we let people pay online and they pay it before we're open. If that transaction is too late, we do not count that as on time. 12:01 a.m. on the 5th is when rent has to be paid. Look at your calendar. If it says the 5th of the month and we don't have rent, the late fee is charged.
And this does not need to be exactly the same for everyone. Like you can have the rent be late on the 4th or the 6th. I've seen it different.
Some states it's not. I don't think it's legal to have late fees on the 5th, or there might be other laws. I don't know the laws of all states. That's why I'm saying maybe.
But again, this is a framework, a concept, like a system, and you need to fill in the blanks. But this is the broad scope of it.
Yeah, and then so basically on the 6th, we tell them we're going to send you a letter, we're going to send you an email, we're going to give you a phone call, we're going to do some kind of communication to see what's going on. And this isn't knock down your door, pay my rent right now type of call or communication. This is we want to make sure you're aware of this. Maybe you intended to pay rent and it didn't happen. Who knows what went wrong, but we want to make sure you're aware of this because things escalate quickly. Then on the 12th of the month is when we send out 72-hour notices. We post this on people's front door. We mail it out to them as well. This is one of the biggest ones where it's state dependent. Different states have 5-day notices, 10-day notices. Some states you can't post it until a certain time of the month, things like that. We're allowed to post it on the 12th and 72-hour notice. And then on the 15th of the month, we actually file the eviction with the courthouse. And then we just take the eviction through the process unless they have paid the balance down in full by then. And what we also do is on the 15th, we charge them the filing fee for an eviction. So the charge we have to pay to the courts, we put on their account because due to their delinquency, we had to pay this money. So they have to, and that gets really hard to come back from. You got rent, you got a late fee, you have an eviction charge on your account, and then you have half a month before rent is due again. So basically we want to do everything we can to prevent that charge going on their account on the 15th. And
you really want to get a hold of them too.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are embarrassed about it. Some people don't like talking, so email works. We at least 2 methods of communication. I'd say one verbal and one written, because some people are much more comfortable to talk about it in a written way, especially if it's just like, hey, it happens, this is an issue, we got to figure out a solution, and we can go watch our video, we'll post in the description on tenant disputes. You talk about it like you're on their side, figure out what the best solution. It might be for them to move out. It might be a cash for keys where you pay them, $100, $200, sweep it clean, be gone by the end of the week, and we're not going to file eviction, no issue. You got a few $100 in your pocket to figure out what to do with. So you need to figure out the solution from there, but go figure out have the various solutions kind of built into your system. Okay, these are the options that we can present.
Well,
and then follow
the biggest thing to tell them is
path.
This is what's happening if you don't talk to us.
And they should know this is what will happen beforehand.
Yes.
That long lease signing. Yeah.
If you don't talk to us, this is what's happening. It's my job to do it. I'm breaking fair housing law if I don't follow this. So you have to get in communication with us, and that's why we're reaching out. We're not reaching out to you to say we're going to evict you. We're reaching out to you to say, like, this is happening unless you work with us. And we basically, the biggest thing that we do with people is we provide them one payment plan per 12-month lease. We have some details about how those work. It's not super complicated, but it's not really worth getting into in this video. Make your own rules for how you structure a payment plan. Basically, we need the entire balance paid off within 2 months. There's some small differences with how that works. But basically, that's how our payment plans work. And you get one for 12 months. We don't want someone using every month. We just basically say people go through hard times.
I would offer one. You can. I don't think it's unreasonable to offer 2 per 12-month period. I would not allow one every single time. Yeah. It's just an endless loop. At some point, they need to move out. If they are obviously living beyond their means, and it's not helping them or you because it's a big hassle for you, and it's hurting them because they're paying all these late fees. They need somewhere that's less expensive.
Yeah, and the payment plan doesn't get rid of the late fee. That is actually a very important thing to do, is to charge a late fee. Some people even do per day late fees, which I actually like. Yeah. We've had some complications of making that work with our system, so we've kind of dropped it. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. But you have to have an incentive for people to do what you need them to do, which is to pay on time. So don't drop the late fee with the payment plan, but you can hold off on an eviction. I think that's a really good way to do it. And then
you need to have markers though. Like
Yes.
we need X amount. Like you want it all paid off within 2 months or thereabouts.
You need to get them back
pick
to
within your
normal.
system.
Is
Yeah,
what you need.
You put this is the framework. You put it within your system after checking your local laws. With both the tenant landlord law, look at the stuff and also talk to your attorney.
And make sure your rules around your payment plans are similar in terms of they have a structure, they have rules. This is going to happen if you don't fulfill it, and if you missed it by 24 hours and I filed for eviction, you missed it by 24 hours and I filed for eviction. I can't listen to your personal story as much as I can sympathize with you. I'm trying to run a business here, and this is how my business has to function. I can feel
we gotta
empathy
follow
for
fair
you.
housing and stick with our policies and follow the lease.
Now, once it comes that you've actually filed an eviction on somebody, a lot of people try to work out deals at that point. We generally just say at that point, we can communicate with you about leaving the property or getting your entire balance paid off, but we are not going to stop that eviction until either you have basically moved out in a amenable way or your balance is back to zero.
I mean, in a lot of states, if you accept a payment, that means the eviction's off. And so it's like you need to make sure you either have an eviction going forward, you are in this period of time, or you have a payment plan in place, and it's like you got to hit X by Y date, you got to hit Z by A, whatever. You pay $200 by the 25th, then another 200. You need to hit those marks, and you need to be in constant communication with them. Again, I would pick one verbal, one written, either text and email or phone call, and phone call and an email is probably the way I would go. Maybe a text.
And the other thing we work on people with is if they have already used the payment plan or they know they can't make it up with the payment plan, it's basically like you either do the payment plan or basically we're working on a way for you to move out of the property without getting an eviction on their record, doing it in a way that works for both parties because, we're not here to let you live for free. You have to pay for it, but we're not going to file for eviction out of being vindictive or anything. It's just we need a house that's producing income. You can't do that at this moment. So let's find, it's not a good solution. I've said this before. No. It's not a good solution, but it's the best solution in this situation of you won't have an eviction on your background. We get the property back in a way that you didn't damage things and you moved out, in an easy to do way. And that's why communication is really hard. Good, but it's hard to get communication with people.
And for more on that, check out our first video that was on tenant-landlord disputes and how to resolve those in a positive way. But for now, I think that's all we've got on this topic, the least favorite topic of real estate investment, buy and hold property.
But the favorite thing of YouTube videos is to subscribe and like. And
it has to be a combination of subscribing and liking and sharing and commenting and sharing on all platforms. I think TikTok, Instagram.
TikTok's the most important.
Snapchat. So. Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it.
We're experts at Snapchat.
All right.
So.
Anyways, thank you everyone. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks.